Ryan Garcia has tested positive for Ostarine, a performance-enhancing drug, the day before and the day of his upset win over Devin Haney.
He put my life in jeopardy, so now it's deeper than boxing with me. I want to take this thing somewhere else now because, like I said, he could have did some real dangerous things to me that night.
Your dad's a pimp and he pimping you. Your dad a pimp and he pimping you. He's gonna kill you, bitch. Where's your mom at? Where's your mom, bitch? Where's your mom, bitch? I'ma beat you. I'ma beat you. I'ma beat you.
The two fighters before you have met before in the amateur divisions. They are 3 wins each.
Frequently as it needs to happen.
Oh, and he's got it locked again. Oh, and a left hand. 1-2, and now Haney's got fire in his eyes. Saying to Ryan Garcia, you're young. Body shot. And he goes down. The last one was a good round for him. Whoa, and a body shot.
The boxing world is locked in on one of the most anticipated rematches of 2025, Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney II. Their first meeting in April 2024 ended in controversy. Garcia scored a dramatic upset, but the result was later overturned after he tested positive for Ostarine, a banned substance. The bout was ruled a no contest, and the rivalry grew even more heated. Now with Garcia's suspension lifted and Haney pushing for redemption, both fighters are aiming to settle the score this October in Riyadh. But first, they each face a must-win fight on May 2nd in a stacked doubleheader event titled Fatal Fury City of the Wolves.
Please welcome Arnold Barboza Jr., Jose Carlos Ramirez, Rolando Role Romero, Teofimo the Takeover Lopez, Devin the Dream Haney, Ryan King Garcia.
Garcia will take on the explosive Rolly Romero, while Haney faces former champion Jose Ramirez. Saudi promoter Turki Al-Sheikh, who's leading the charge, teased the stakes clearly on X. This is just the beginning. Garcia and Haney will settle their feud in Riyadh this October, if they survive May. The path to the rematch isn't guaranteed. It must be earned. Garcia and Haney's rivalry has roots in the amateurs, where they fought 6 times, each claiming 3 wins. Their competitive history carried over into the pros, fueled by social media exchanges, interviews, and a mutual desire to prove who's better. Their first pro bout in April 2024 delivered high drama. Garcia dropped Haney 3 times and walked away with a majority decision win. But within days, the fight result was thrown into chaos after Garcia tested positive for Ostarine, leading to the outcome being ruled a no contest. Fans, media, and fighters were left debating what should have been a career-defining win. Instead, it became one of boxing's biggest controversies. Speaking on the legal action Haney filed against Garcia after the failed test, Garcia's promoter Oscar De La Hoya dismissed it entirely. "We have to deal with this frivolous lawsuit that they slapped on us, but that's all it is noise. That's all it is. How can you sue somebody that beat the crap out of you, you know? It just doesn't make sense." However, not everyone in the boxing community shares De La Hoya's view. Some, like respected coach Rasheem Jefferson, believe Haney is fully justified in pursuing legal and professional consequences. In a passionate defense of Haney, Jefferson said, "I think Devin Haney should get everything he can get out of this situation because Ryan Garcia really tried to kill that man. He really tried to end his life, end his career, and everything with knowingly taking steroids and not losing the weight and coming in as a bigger guy." Jefferson's words echoed a broader concern that Garcia's actions went beyond controversy. They endangered another fighter's career. For many, that's why the rematch matters so much, because now it's more than just a money fight. It's about respect. It's about reputation. Haney wants to clear the air once and for all. He wants to erase the stain of that first bout and prove that he's the more complete, disciplined fighter, the one who sticks to the rules and still wins at the highest level. Garcia, on the other hand, feels the world has already seen the truth. He believes his performance spoke for itself, and now he wants to prove it wasn't a one-time thing. He stated, "I'm really focused on just whooping Devin Haney's ass again. That's all I'm really worried about." It's clear Garcia isn't approaching this as a second chance. He's treating it like unfinished business. But for either man to even reach the rematch in Riyadh this October, they have to survive May 2nd. That's where their focus is locked in now. Haney understands the risk in looking too far ahead. Despite all the noise around Garcia, his eyes are first on the challenge directly in front of him. He stated, "I know that he's a tough competitor. I know that he's coming to win, and to get to the Ryan fight, first we got to beat Jose Ramirez, and that's what I look to do." Both fighters are in their prime, both have massive followings, and both know what's at stake. A win on May 2nd keeps the story alive. A loss, it could end everything. Before that night arrives, it's worth looking at what's shaped each of these fighters, their paths, their styles, and what brought them to this point. Garcia's rise has been meteoric. From viral knockout clips to big fights on DAZN, he's built a massive fan base. His win over Luke Campbell in 2021, where he was dropped but came back to win by KO, proved he had grit, not just speed. Other notable wins include Emmanuel Tagoe and Javier Fortuna. Explosive and aggressive, Garcia's trademark is his blistering hand speed and deadly left hook. A recent training clip showing his rapid-fire combinations went viral again, reminding fans of just how dangerous he can be when focused. He prefers mid-range exchanges where he can catch opponents in between punches, but his high chin and flat-footed moments have left him vulnerable against skilled boxers. Mental health breaks, erratic behavior online, missed obligations, and now a failed drug test have clouded his image. Garcia insists the positive result came from contaminated supplements, but the backlash was swift. Still, he's using this moment to send a different kind of message. He stated, "I want to show everybody that you can come back from anything." He's looking at this rematch as his shot at redemption, both in the ring and in the public eye. As Garcia aims to rebuild and prove his critics wrong, Haney stands on the other side of this rivalry with a very different mission: to restore order, clear his name, and defend the integrity of the sport. Haney became the youngest undisputed lightweight champion after beating George Kambosos Jr. twice in 2022. He followed that up with a hard-fought win over Vasily Lomachenko, showcasing his ability to control elite-level opponents over 12 technical rounds. Where Garcia is explosive, Haney is calculated. He's the definition of a pure boxer, controlling distance, setting the tempo with his jab, and rarely getting drawn into risky exchanges. While some fans criticize his lack of knockouts, many praise his consistency, focus, and ring IQ. A recent video of Haney's training showed just how sharp his fundamentals remain, especially his footwork and timing. But after the chaos of the Garcia fight, Haney wasn't just looking for a rematch. He filed a lawsuit seeking both clarity and compensation for what he believes was a compromised bout. Though the legal action has since been paused to prioritize the rematch, the sense of injustice hasn't faded. Haney's father and trainer, Bill Haney, spoke strongly about the situation, emphasizing that, to them, this fight goes far beyond just personal revenge. He stated, "Devin is the face of boxing because he has challenged the franchise in many ways, by working with multiple promoters, by crossing the sides of the street, and now he's challenging PED use. This is all for the good of the sport. For Team Haney, this is bigger than belts or bragging rights. It's about principle." He stated, "It's not just about Devin, not about the championship, not about the S that he did. It's about the sport and what's right and what's wrong." Bill Haney also questioned the fairness of the aftermath, pointing to the financial penalties and outcomes that followed Garcia's failed drug test. He further added, "So why would Ryan Garcia go in, plead guilty, and then not compensate Devin, but also cheat the people? Oscar De La Hoya receives $1 million as a fine, so why would he receive $1 million and Devin not?" For Devin Haney, this upcoming fight isn't just about settling a score, it's about restoring credibility to the sport and making sure this time there are no questions left unanswered. Both Garcia and Haney are scheduled to fight on the same night, May 2nd, in a card titled Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves. It's a strategic setup. Win and move on to the October rematch. Lose, and the opportunity is gone. For Garcia, the challenge comes in the form of Rolly Romero, an unpredictable fighter with an awkward style, knockout power, and a habit of making every fight messy. He's a former WBA champion, and despite being the underdog, he isn't short on confidence or opinions. Speaking on Garcia's development as a fighter, Rolly didn't hold back. He doesn't want to be f***ing champion. He wants to be a f***ing model. I don't think he evolved as a fighter. He does the same shit. Romero will be looking to disrupt Garcia's rhythm and force him into uncomfortable exchanges. Garcia, meanwhile, knows he can't overlook Rolly, even with the Haney rematch looming. "He's going to come to fight," Garcia said. "I'm not taking him lightly or anything like that. I'm still going to train my best." At the same time, he openly admitted where his true motivation lies. "But everybody wants to see the Haney rematch. That's where my heart's at." Still, Garcia promises promises that fans will see a more polished version of him this time out. Someone who's focused and ready to showcase more than just power. Every fight is different. For me, you're going to see more of a pure boxer. You're going to see something like what happened to Fonseca, a first-round knockout. And in true Ryan Garcia fashion, he kept it blunt when asked for his final prediction. I know I'm the better fighter, and Emma knocks him out. That's it. As Garcia prepares for his bout against Rolly Romero, Haney's next challenge comes in the form of Jose Ramirez, a relentless pressure fighter known for his ability to close the distance and attack the body. A former unified champion, Ramirez excels at overwhelming opponents with his volume and power.
From the valleys of the Golden State arises an undefeated Mexican-American warrior who proudly represented his heritage throughout each step of his extraordinary rise.
For Haney, this represents a classic boxer versus brawler matchup. Ramirez will look to bring the fight to him, testing his ability to stay disciplined under pressure. Haney, known for his jab and footwork, will need to control the pace and avoid getting caught up in wild exchanges. But Ramirez's style is one that has troubled many technically skilled fighters in the past. His aggressive, high-pressure approach can force even the most polished boxers to fight in uncomfortable spaces. If Haney can avoid being drawn into a brawl, he should maintain control of the fight, but it won't be easy. Robert Garcia, trainer for Jose Ramirez, believes his fighter has the tools to make this a difficult night for Haney. He commented, "Devin Haney, coming off a pretty brutal loss, we have to take advantage of it. We got to go out there and do our job. I think Jose can hurt him. Jose will hurt him." With both Garcia and Haney facing tough challenges on May 2nd, the potential rematch later this year hinges on more than just power or speed. It will come down to who adapts better during their next encounter. AI simulations suggest a slight edge for Haney, with a 60% likelihood of winning via unanimous decision. The model also predicts that Garcia could land a knockdown again, but unless he secures a stoppage, Haney's consistency and technical approach might be enough to carry the night in the later rounds. Still, Garcia is always dangerous. His win condition remains straightforward. Land clean, land hard, and make sure he doesn't miss his moment. He's proven time and again that he can change the course of a fight in a split second. As the rematch draws nearer, opinions among boxing analysts are split. Some believe Garcia's power will eventually catch up with Haney again, especially given how explosive he is in the early rounds. Others feel Haney knows what to expect this time and will adjust, fighting a smarter, safer bout to avoid Garcia's biggest threats. Oscar De La Hoya, Garcia's promoter, expressed his view on the situation, suggesting that a rematch might not even be necessary. "I see no need for it. Ryan Garcia destroyed Haney, and that's the bottom line. Imagine if Ryan Garcia was 100% what he would do to Devin Haney." De La Hoya, confident in Garcia's abilities, went on to explain that he doesn't think the rematch is warranted, adding that the performance from Garcia in their first encounter was more dominant than many realized. Do I want to see a rematch? No, it doesn't call for it. I don't care if they say Ryan Garcia was on steroids. He was 30% up in that ring. Despite the controversy surrounding Garcia's failed drug test, De La Hoya sees a dominant win, saying, "There's fighters here like Teofimo Lopez that we can match up with Ryan and make a terrific event." Whether or not the rematch happens, the underlying tension between Garcia and Haney remains. Both sides are firm in their belief, but only time will tell which strategy will prevail if they meet again. Despite De La Hoya's confidence in Garcia, others see the potential for a much different outcome in a rematch. Eddie Hearn, who promotes some of the sport's biggest names, weighed in on the possibility, offering his perspective on Haney's performance in the first fight. The rematch would be huge. Devin's got to be a lot better. Like I said, he boxed really poorly that night, not taking anything away from Ryan, but I thought Devin boxed a poor fight. Hearn's comment highlights the areas where Haney could improve: more focus, more discipline, and the ability to avoid being drawn into Garcia's explosive game. He believes Haney has the skills to win, but needs to step up his performance to control the pace in a potential rematch. As the conversation about a potential rematch intensifies, Tim Bradley, a former champion and respected boxing analyst, shared his thoughts on Haney's performance in the first fight, offering insights into what went wrong and how Haney can improve next time. "I think Devin needs to be a lot smarter about it. I think that Devin was somewhat drawn into the fight because of, just what was at stake," he further added while expressing his thoughts. Talking back and forth, he started to believe his own hype, starting to believe all the press clippings, and he really didn't prepare himself, I don't think, mentally for Ryan's, banter and just trash talk. Bradley explained that Haney's focus may have shifted during the build-up to the fight, which allowed Garcia to outmaneuver him mentally and emotionally. He got outfoxed. Usually, Devin is the one who outfoxes his opponent. But hey, Garcia, let's give it to him. He outfoxed him. Bradley's analysis emphasizes the mental game, a key factor in a potential rematch. Haney will need to remain focused and not get drawn into the verbal battles, staying true to his disciplined style to outsmart Garcia in the ring. As the debate over a potential rematch continues, Regis Prograis, a former world champion, shared his thoughts on Haney's chances against Garcia, expressing skepticism about Haney's ability to overcome Garcia in a rematch. I don't think he could beat Ryan. I don't think he's going to beat Ryan. I think mentally he knows because he got beat. He got dropped 3 times. He got his ass whooped by Ryan, and that's always going to be in his head. Prograis believes that despite what's said publicly, the psychological impact of the loss will linger for Haney. No matter what they put out there, no matter what Bill said, that's always going to be in the back of his mind, like, damn, he really beat me. Prograis added that while Garcia's drug test issues can't be ignored, they won't change the fact that Haney suffered a clear defeat. And no matter what they say about the steroids and all that type of, you can say what you want, bro, but at the end of the day, he still lost. Prograis was quick to acknowledge the controversy around Garcia's failed drug test, but emphasized that Haney's loss, despite the external circumstances, remains a significant mental hurdle. Yeah, it was wrong. He was using something he wasn't supposed to, but how much did that really count? Prograis doesn't believe Haney will be able to overcome the psychological impact of the loss in a rematch. So, I don't think Devin will be able to beat Ryan. Prograis' commentary underscores the mental side of the sport and how a fighter's mindset can influence their performance in a rematch. The rivalry between Garcia and Haney is far from simple. It's deeply rooted in contrasting philosophies of boxing. Among fans, opinions are sharply divided. Some back Garcia's explosive style and believe he's been unfairly judged, while others trust in Haney's technical skill and tactical approach. The fallout from Garcia's failed drug test has only intensified this debate, shining a spotlight on the sport's testing protocols. In response, VADA testing has been implemented for both fighters as they prepare for this next phase. This ensures that they will be closely monitored throughout training, with any future violations potentially derailing their careers. And of course, the rematch itself. As for Haney's legal action against Garcia, it remains paused, with both teams agreeing to settle things in the ring rather than the courtroom. However, if further issues arise, there's always the possibility that the legal battle could resume. For Garcia, rebuilding public trust is a priority. Many see the October fight as his opportunity to do just that. On the other hand, Haney is viewed as the more disciplined and professional figure, but he still has something to prove, especially after the knockdowns in their first meeting. The rematch is about more than just titles. It's about redemption and validation. For Garcia, it's his chance to clear his name, showing that his skills, not supplements, earned him victory. For Haney, it's about restoring order to the narrative and proving that boxing IQ can and should trump raw power. If both fighters win on May 2nd, the stage will be set for a monumental showdown in October 2025 in Riyadh. A true grudge match, a clean slate, a fight that could define their careers and the future of boxing. Until then, everything hangs in the balance. In boxing, nothing is promised, only earned.